Hey guys, Dr. Vic here, and you're listening to another episode here on the Mindful Experiment. As each week, every Tuesday or Wednesday, you will hear from me sharing a concept, an idea, or something to help you level up in the game that we like to call life. So this week has been interesting for me. It's actually something I've been having conversations with. It's been a theme for the last week since the last podcast I released. And it's one of the things where I've been talking a lot about return on investment. So if you saw the title ROI and you're wondering what the heck was that, it means return on investment. And so in business, in concepts, when you invest in something, there needs to be a return on that investment. And what does that look like, right? If you're going to invest in something, you better get an ROI. And the higher, the better, okay? And sometimes the higher the ROI usually means higher the risk too. But it's one of the things where I've been talking with friends about it, and I'm going through something like that too, where I'm in the process right now of potentially looking at hiring a new coach in the next month and a half. I'm looking at, you may say, why are you waiting a month and a half? This is just how I work. I do a lot of due diligence. I spend a lot of time researching things before I make a decision, and I usually do it ahead of time. It's just like when I'm going to buy a car, or if my time's coming up to lease a car next, my lease is ending or something like that. I literally start looking at cars a year ahead of time. That way I know what's coming out, what am I going to be interested in, what new models came out the year before. There's a lot of things I look at because the reason why some people say, well, just get a car you like, who cares? But for me, it's not only getting the car I like, it's also getting at an amazing price. And that is very high on my value list. And so since getting what I want at an amazing price is two things that I look at, that's why I spend so much time on this. But it's one of the things you have to understand in life. And I was sharing this with a colleague of mine, and it was one of the things we were talking about. And he's all into investing, and I'm big on that. And things are going really, really well for him, and I'm very excited for him. But it's investing in other things that he has really no control, like a stock market or cryptocurrencies and things like that. And I said that, and I'm in cryptocurrencies. That's usually where I invest a lot of my money into, besides real estate. But one of the things that I was sharing with him is that I said, this is great, you're doing all that, but those are things that you can't control, right? If the market tanks, you're done. That's it. And then you have to re-put money back in or capital to get it to go back up. I said, but what is an investment that you can do that can give you not only the money you desire, but you'll make more money there than in anything else you invest? And this is something I learned a long time ago. I really had to put my money where my mouth was, because I know one thing I know for sure about me is if I say I'm going to do something, I put my mind to it, it's happening. It's just going to happen. There's some way, somehow it's going to happen. It may take 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. The time does not matter to me. It's going to happen. And that's all I know. And one of the things about that is I had to learn, though, because I wasn't putting my money, though, into me. You see, I would talk about that. I would know that. And I did that. I had proof. I did a lot of things that showed proof, but I wasn't investing in me. And I was being cheap with me and not on outside factors. So I was looking for the best program. I was looking for the best platform. I was looking for the best XYZ, right? Chiropractic business, I was looking for what's the best software out there right now? What's the best technology to analyze things to be the best of what it was? That's what I cared about. Now, some people say, hey, you're investing in you because you're getting that technology, which is true. And that is true. But I'm talking about investing in me and my growth and everything. And it took a while before I understood that, to where then I didn't care about the price. I cared about the results. Right. And this is funny. I was just on a coaching call. Actually, I'm a potential client. And it was funny when they gave me the price of what it's going to be per month and then what's going to come out to a year. I was like, holy cow. It was a lot of money. But at the same token, when he said, what do you think of that price? I looked and I said, well, this is the cost of doing business. I mean, like literally, if that's what it is to get to the goals and the results of where I want to get to, then that's fine. Let's do it. And he took a step back and he started laughing, and I must have got him on something, because he sat there and he's like, I forgot I'm talking to a mindset coach. You already, I don't even have to explain this to you. You get this. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, if it's X amount of dollars, but here's where I want to go with my life. And if that's going to help shorten the time frame for me to get there, hell, let's do it. right? And that's why I'm a huge fan of coaching or mentoring, consulting, those kind of arenas, because you always want to have one, because they're going to help shorten up your time and then help you be an accountability partner and so much more. And that's why I love about coaching, because I've had great success with it. I've always been passionate about helping people in any aspect. And it's one of the things where this is what I enjoy. It's one of my things that I just love to do. And it's like it's like chiropractic care. I love serving people and helping those who are interested in chiropractic, into health, looking to not only just be out of pain, but to level up in their life. Same thing in coaching. And it's one of the things where it's just they help in many different aspects. So I'm not here to try to sales pitch on coaching in itself, but I'm just being real with you guys that I've always had a coach in my life ever since I got out of chiropractic. I had a coach in chiropractic school. And I've always seeked to have coaches, because it was one of the things that I know that I'm good at what I do. I know that I have a lot of faith and belief systems in me, but I do have blind spots, just like everybody else. And as much as I meditate and I'm really aware and I be as mindful as I can, I'm human. So there's a limited perspective I always have. The other factors is things to do. What's in the industry? Somebody's doing something that I want to be at. So then what happens? I look for that, and then what's the cost of doing business, right? Because let's say you want to make $250,000 a year, but it's going to cost you $30,000 to $50,000 to have that person be there to help you get there. Are you going to really worry about that 30 to 50? Because some people will. And the old person, me, would have thought the same way. This is how I didn't invest in myself. And then, or you say, hey, this is where I want to get to. And if this person can get me there and they're doing way beyond that and more, then hell, let's do it. And it's looking at your return on investment, because when you invest in you, it is the best investment that you can possibly ever get. It's endless returns. I mean, I was doing numbers and I was trying to project with my wife. I was talking to her about, in my chiropractic office, what I started out, and I started in, I remember when I go in credit card debt. I think it was probably about $28,000, right? And then my wife's like, hold on, but you had student loans. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I got to add those in. I'm like, thanks, hon, for putting a hammer on my initial investment. But when I looked at the total investment of everything that I had put in, and then I looked at my total gains I've had in the last 10 years, I was very impressed with that. Stock market can't create that. Cryptocurrencies can. It just depends if you put it all in one coin and it just happens to blow up. But it was one of the things where I looked at it for a second and I was like, wow. And on top of it, I have an annual salary, right? I have an annual income coming in on top of all that I've made. And so I looked and I was like, man, that's awesome. I was like, that's awesome. That was a huge return on investment. And so then it's like, okay, how do you level up to the next level to allow myself to challenge myself to be the person I have to be to gain those rewards? And so when you're looking at your life, know that investing in you is the most critical thing you can do. I always tell people from health is the greatest investment you can ever do first. That's number one. So if you're looking at something that you can do to invest in yourself, get healthier, move more, eat well, go see a chiropractor, specifically holistic or someone who's very principle based. You might say, what the hell does that mean? They teach you what subluxation is, okay? On day one, if they're talking about subluxation, that's your chiropractor, okay? Because you want someone who's not going to focus on pain. They're going to use technologies to go ahead and look at and see what is actually happening with the nervous system. How is the subluxation playing a role in your health? Okay, that's number one. I would say that's the first thing you should go do. And if you need resources or someone that you're looking to, please reach out and connect with me. Email me. I'll be more than happy to connect you with people. I have colleagues around the world that I can connect you with. So that's number one. Then you got to look at, healthier, right? Eating well, moving well, sleeping well, mental, emotional states. Well, my podcast, if you've been listening to this, I really help you on that level. If you're first time listening, hey, go back and listen to a ton of them. We have 200 as the day of this podcast being released. We're at number 292. We are creeping to 300. I am so excited to get there. I can't believe we're going to be hitting 300 episodes. This is just to me, it's just unreal, but it's been a fun journey. I'm passionate about this. So I do this all the time. It's fun for me. But that's one of the things you want to look at when it comes to your return on investment is your health. Because if you don't have your health, what do you have, right? It's the first of all liberties. It's what allows them to maximize you. And that is something you always want to make sure you are leveling up when it comes to the work that you do, is make sure you're investing in your health, because it is the greatest return that you will ever get. I know because when I was 19 years old, my health was crap. And for a guy who could run a 5-minute mile, can bench double his weight, and I say these numbers not to impress you. I say this because at the time, I thought that was what health was. That's why I was trained, right? Eating well, moving well, taking good nutrition, being physically fit, and thought that was health. And it wasn't. And through a journey of work, through chiropractic, I've been under care now for almost 19 years. It's one of the things that I saw has saved my life. And the growth and expansion I've had over the time has been absolutely no dollar amount could add up to it. And so that's what's the value when it comes to your health. The second thing is if you're an entrepreneur or something along those lines, find a coach. Hell, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. I'm a mindset coach, transformational mindset coach who allows people to level up in their game of life, not only from business and that kind of perspective, but every aspect, because we teach how the mind, if you focus there, it will affect all the arenas of your life. So you want to make sure this is set straight so that you can maximize and experience those higher levels of consciousness. But finding someone, if you're not in business, there's life coaches. There's some people who can help you achieve to those levels of what it is that you want to achieve and what you want to experience in your life. I truly believe that everybody needs a coach. I've never not had a coach. And it's one of those things where in my life, it has helped me maximize to the highest level possible. And I know it can do the same for you. So those are two things you can do. Other investments is investing in you, is learn something. Continue to learn. Don't stop, right? One of the things I love about myself, and some people who don't do this are usually my biggest critics, is that they'll say, well, how do you know? You act like you know all these things. And it's like, I don't know everything. And I ask my wife, she'll be the first to tell you that I'm first to commit. I don't know. I know minute of what is out there. Okay. But I have an endless desire to learn, to study, to learn concepts. It's one of my highest values. So I'm always reading books. I'm listening to YouTube videos, podcasting, listening to podcasts. I'm learning things that I'm interested in to help me grow and expand. And so my knowledge is very vast and wide to what I'm interested in. This is always true. It's like my wife, like, you know everything. I'm like, no, I don't. And then we go for a trivia night. And then I'll be like, I'm going to show you how much I really don't know. And then all of a sudden she'll be like, you only knew the sections that you're interested in. I'm like, yep, that's it. I don't know anything about pop culture or trivia and certain things, history of sports, even though I'm a big sports guy. I was like, nope, those things don't interest me. And so she's like, interesting. I said, I told you I don't know much of anything. But it's one of those things where in your life, how are you leveling up and what are you investing in? I remember one time my coach was doing this and he was showing how much he was sharing to his client stuff, how much he invests in himself each year, dollar amount. And then it was a quite amount of money. And I looked, I was like, man, 70, 80,000. I was like, wow, $80,000. That's a lot. And then I started looking at myself. I'm like, okay, here's my coach. Here's what I'm spending on here, workshops, how I'm getting more to what's the next level of things I'm working on. And it was like $40,000, $50,000. And I was like, holy cow, I invest in myself $40,000 to $50,000 a year, roughly. And I'm always continually doing that to a certain degree, sometimes less and more, it just depends on the year. But I'm always investing in myself to gain more knowledge, to be better at what I do so that I can show up being a A+ player in the game of life. And so investing in you, I'm not saying to go out and just drop money all over the place. What I'm recommending is finding things that you're interested in that you want to grow and expand on, or things that you may feel like you don't know, have a good catch on, or, I always recommend interest. Because I'm not the type of coach who's like, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z, B, D, and that's what you have to do to get to this level. Sometimes I do say that, but it's just like saying I never really tell a lot of patients that everyone needs chiropractic care. I have said it a good handful of times, but I never have said that. I don't say it all the time. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because even though I know everybody needs chiropractic care to live the highest level that they possibly can, it's one of those things where there's a message for the certain person when it comes. Just like the chiropractor who got me into all this said that to me when I was 19 years old, that I'll need chiropractic care for the rest of my life. So it's looking at what interests you, because that's going to be your big inspiration, not motivation, your inspiration in spirit coming from within. That means no one has to motivate you to do anything. And that is going to allow you to expand. That's why, for me, I love learning things. So even though I'm a chiropractor, I'm also a transformational mindset coach, a podcast host. I'm also an author. I'm also a transformational inspirational speaker. those are the things I have, right? I also love woodworking. I'm always trying to learn new tips and tricks and things like that, of how I can get better at that craft. My next thing I want to start to learn is welding, because those go hand in hand. I would love to weld things and make stands and project stuff. So that way I can put it with my woodworking and I can make some really cool design art. That's just my expression of what I enjoy, right? It's not that I'm trying to be Mr. All Know It All. It's that I enjoy certain things. And when I like something, I go all in. It's just how my mentality works. So that's the last thing I want to share with you is make sure you're going all in with what your interests are. Don't half-ass it. Go all in and keep learning, keep growing, because I'm telling you, if you do these things, just this alone, you are going to maximize your life. In the next year, 3 years, you'll see a shift. Hell, you might see it in the first 6 months to a year. Nobody really knows when you're going to see it. But the key is, we know for a fact that as long as you're continually to grow and invest in you, your focus and energy comes into you, which is going to expand your life more. And when that happens, you become more of a magnet to attract more to you. So that's what I got for you guys today. And as my dog is at my door crying, calling me, telling me, hey, buddy, your time's up. Let's go. Get out of the office. So I hope you thought this was inspirational. Please let me know if this is your first time listening. Please subscribe to the podcast. It really helps it out. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Tick that bell so you don't miss another episode here. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for those who are subscribed and listening. Hope this was inspirational. And if you really found it that way, pay it forward. Share it with someone you know. Appreciate you guys. As always, I'll see y'all next week.